Hi everyone and welcome to our webinar. Today Roi Amitai, Head of Dev Infra at Armis, and Maxim Melamedov, CEO and co-founder at Zesty, will share how Armis has saved 53% annually on the Amazon EC2 with Zesty's AI-driven cloud management platform. Let's get started.
Hi, welcome everyone. Happy to have you here joining our webinar. My name is Maxim and I'm the CEO and co-founder of Zesty. Zesty is the first and only cloud management platform that proactively adapts cloud resources to real-time application needs. And I'm honored to have here with me Roi Amitai, the head of Dev and Infrastructure at Armis. Roi is one of our first customers. And during this 45 minutes, Roi will share Armis' journey with Zesty for the last 2 years. Roi, do you mind giving a short introduction about yourself?
Sure. So first of all, thank you very much for having me here, Maxim. I'm very thrilled and happy to have Zesty in my tool stack. So I'm Roi Amitai, and as Maxim mentioned, I'm the head of Dev Infra at Armis. I've been working at Armis for the past 2.5 years, and I came there to establish the DevOps team. I grew with the company, and today I'm managing 4 teams as part of the Dev Infra group. Don't know if you have heard about Armis, but you should. So Armis is a unified visibility security platform, but what that actually means. So Armis is actually securing what we like to call unagentable devices. Unagentable devices are all those devices connected to your company network, which you can't install any agent on them. So if you think about it, every new employee, every employee brings his smartwatch with him. Today, even the coffee machine is connected to the network. It could be security cameras, it could be printers. But if you think about this, it can also be MRI machines at hospitals. It could also be breathing machines at the hospital. All those devices are very hard to protect, and Armis is there to actually help protect us. So how do we do that? So first of all, it's very important to mention that we are a passive. We ran passively in the company network, which means we are not interfering with any internal traffic. We do listen to this traffic, and we do this continuously and in real time. And this brings us to what exactly Armis is bringing. So Armis does 3 main things. First of all, it discovers all of the assets of the organization. Those things we just talked about. Those watches, those laptops, those cameras, all of those devices. We discover those devices, we create an inventory of all of those devices, and I can tell you that we just crossed a really significant milestone in Armis. We recognize and we collect thousands of parameters for 1 billion devices, which is an amazing thing if you think about it. The second thing that we do is actually to identify the risks. We have a risk score that we attach to each of those devices. And this risk is being determined by a smart algorithm and AI, and we collect all this information and we identify vulnerabilities, we identify if the device is connected to bad IPs or any abnormal behavior of the device. And after that, all we have to do is actually the third thing is to automate enforcement. We use the company infrastructure, we use the company network devices and capabilities in order to do whatever those devices can. So we can run a script, we can block, we can quarantine, we can just label and tag those devices and make sure we get back to handling those at a later stage. We do all of those things. Some facts about Armis, which is really interesting, actually. I don't know if you know about it, Maxim, but we are a 400 employees company worldwide. Yeah, this is significant. When I joined Armis, we were just few employees. Today, we are 400. The R&D center is located here in Tel Aviv. It's about 150 engineers, and the group that I'm leading, the Dev Infra group, is actually 20 engineers. We've been founded approximately 5 years ago by Evgeny Dibrov and Nadir Israel, and we're evaluated at $2 billion. But what's really amazing about this number, which is amazing, but what's really amazing about it is the growth of the 200% in the last year. Just a year ago, we were acquired by a privately held VC called Insight. You might have heard about them, for 1.1 billion. And this year we are evaluated at 2 billion. That's an amazing fact. This is just a number that shows the growth of the company, which is really, I think, one of the reasons why we need Zesty. A few words about our infrastructure. So we're running on AWS, 100%. All of our instances, thousands of instances running on AWS. We're using many services by AWS. All of this helps us run a massive data pipeline. We actually, this pipeline, if you think about the amount of data there, so Armis customers are huge in terms of half of the 10 biggest companies, the Fortune 10 are Armis's clients, right? And those companies have a lot of data flowing inside their private network. If you take all of this, it comes to something like 10 billion events per day, which is obviously amazing. Yeah, the last thing, and it's very important to mention it here, is cutting edge technology. We always try to be at the newest technology available. We're not afraid not to develop our own solutions where needed, and we're not afraid to replace technologies and tools that we're using if there's a better one on the shelf, right? This is also very important to mention, because as you figure out, this creates a very dynamic environment. We scale up, we scale down, we terminate, we create, and we keep doing this all the time. One more thing that actually brought us to use Zesty. But if you take all of this, I think that I can put it in one word: scale. And this is the main challenge that Armis, for Armis, scale. Everything that we do is a huge scale. And to manage 1,000, even 10,000 instances is easy. Maybe managing 10,000 is not easy, but managing a million is something that you need to change the way you think. You need to change everything, like how you do things. You need to change it in order to be able to support that number of instances. So this is our main challenge. But let's talk a little bit about a different challenge. Part of my responsibility in Armis is to optimize the cost. 2.5 years ago, we started seeing the growth in our AWS account. Obviously, this is something that everyone sees, but we started seeing that it's growing significantly. And if you're not doing anything, it will just get to a certain point where it's just too big. So we sit down and we start evaluating, and we start thinking, how are we going to attack this? So first of all, we came up with what exactly is the drive for this huge cost. And we started thinking, and we saw that EC2s is the biggest, have the most effect over our cost. We started thinking, what is the challenge of managing this infrastructure, right? And we see that our dynamic infrastructure, the dynamic way that we're doing things, makes us unable to commit for any reserve instances commitment. We weren't able to do that. And where we could do that, we saw that we had just like a very low reserve instances coverage at the end. This drove up our infrastructure cost, and contributing to this were a lot of POCs that we ran, which are infrastructures, instances that you bring up and down all the time, so you can't really reserve those instances, right? We saw, like we talked about technology. We are trying to bring new technologies all the time. So this is good. I mean, this is really good, because we saw our infrastructure cost went up because we have more clients, because we adopting new technologies. This is good, but how do we what do we need to do?
Yes.
Where do we go from here?
Yes.
Right. So what's the required solution? What do we need here? So we had to come up with a plan to be able to adopt those changes, right? Be able to say, okay, we know that we're a dynamic environment, but how can we solve reserving those instances in a dynamic environment? How can we lower our costs significantly? And doing that in a fast, easy to implement, without commitment, right? So all of those things brought us to use Zesty. Now I would start with the bottom line here, guys. The bottom line is that Armis is able to save 53% on EC2 costs, which is amazing. And that's everything that I care about, right? Our engineers doesn't even care. They don't see the system behind everything, right? Zesty does it very good. I don't know how. They use magic, right? This is what they do. They use magic, but really, I think Maxim here can explain better what Zesty is doing.
Awesome. So first of all, thank you, Roi, for this opportunity on getting our foot in the door 2 years ago when we were a small company that had a concept of how we can automate just one part of your efforts, knowing that everything is dynamic and statisticity has a price. Predictability is not something you can do on a day-to-day and an hourly basis. So what we have built is a system that is able to do real-time prediction. That system does real-time prediction on 2 variables and matches between them. The real-time prediction happens on your account, on each and every component within your account. That prediction combines with the prediction we have on the reserved instances marketplace, enables us to completely automate the full cycle of your reserved instances fleet. We are able to take into account your scale, the marketplace fluctuation, and adjust the 2 of them. And that enables you guys to develop and run your business at any scale needed without investing precious resources of your engineers into forecasting, predicting, and managing your commitment portfolio.
So basically magic, like I said.
Yeah. So before Roi introduced us, his engineering team had a need. They understood that they can drive the costs down, because driving the cost down has a huge impact on the profit margin. And this is an absolute need for any company that the end customer impacts their cloud infrastructure. When this is your reality, your infrastructure is not only connected to your own dev environment, it also serves your end customers. And to deal with that manually is a headache. So before Zesty, Roi and his team needed to sync between the business side and the development side and manually manage their commitment portfolio.
You know, that's a problem in most companies because there's no one person that knows, both sides, right? And I think that's the most important part here. A lot of companies know that they can save money, but they don't have the right person to do that, right? That's the problem. So it's amazing, like how you do it. It's amazing.
And at the end of the day, we also have to remember that it's not only the development that impacts your footprint in the cloud, it's also your end customers. And if you have a growing business that is extremely successful by getting new customers, it has nothing to do with your development. Your footprint just would expand. And paying on demand for that footprint is just too expensive. So the way we do is we constantly scan the reserved instances marketplace. And by having multi-year statistics on it, we can see the supply and demand on that marketplace. And the way we do is that we constantly looking to buy the most lucrative discount available on that on behalf of our customers. And this is an example of a reserved instance that was bought a couple of weeks ago for Armis. We got an approval from Roi to display this data, of course. So the one-time payment was $25, and it's for a 2-month duration, and that saves 65%. Now, if you would compare that to a spot instance, it's slightly less of a discount, but it guarantees 100% stability. That discount, that instance would not change. Nobody will take it away from you.
Even more important here is that spot instances require our developers to actually build their software to be able to run as a spot, right? And with reserve instances, it's just, there's no risk, right? It's just exactly the same. If the developers will never know that Zesty is the one that reserved those instances, they don't care about it, right? And that's what's nice about it. We didn't need to involve any developer in the process of enabling Zesty.
And another example, a 61% sold event. What the added value of Zesty is that we don't only extend your footprint in the cloud when needed from the commitment side. We also have a unique SLA when we guarantee, in case of reduction of usage, to sell that commitment on your behalf without you interfering with the operations. And here is an example. Again, Roi's permission to show this graph. The upper line shows the total amount of machines running in this specific region from this specific family. And when they were scaling up, we were able to support at the very high granularity. But the magic happened here. At some point, someone within Armis made magic, and he made a lot of machines disappear. Our system immediately identified unused reserved instances and put them on the marketplace. With our ability to predict the behavior of the marketplace, we were immediately able to sell them off. Now, because of our prediction, we sold just a bit more than needed, but after a couple of minutes, we corrected that and brought back to the new reality. And this is something I doubt any human can do.
Yeah, it's amazing. It actually, if you take a look at the number, 99.99% of reserved instances. This is, I think that's the average, right? But that shows that even when you scale up and down, Zesty is able to do that accordingly. And if you take a look at the average rate here, you see that you have a 99.99%. This is amazing, right? It means that we're just optimizing almost like 100%, like as close as optimized as we can, right? And that's amazing.
Our bottom line to the customers is saying, if there is one task that you can permanently check off your to-do list, and we know you have a lot, is managing your commitment portfolio. The way we structured our business is to enable our customers to forget all about their commitment portfolio and let us managing that on their behalf. We offer a risk-free. It means that we are contractually committed to have a buyback guarantee on any unutilized commitment on an hourly basis on your infrastructure. We're operating with the highest savings using 3-year commitments. It has absolutely zero efforts on your behalf. It's fully automated. And our coverage, we're aiming to at least 95%. And we always prefer to underpromise and overachieve. This isn't a discount example of comparing Zesty's offering versus whatever you can do on your own. You can have the on-demand with that carries 0% discount. If you buying a 1-year no upfront saving plan that will carry 27% discount. If you're able to commit for a specific resource in a specific region, that will carry a 37% discount. And if you know that you can buy a 3-year no upfront saving plan, that will carry a 48% discount. With Zesty, it's a 57%. So you're getting higher coverage because of automation. You are not going to have a resource constantly looking on a day-to-day at your environment, and nobody can guarantee that you would be able to liquidate your reserved instances on the marketplace. Only we can. And our secret sauce, as I mentioned, is the real-time data. We look at the marketplace in real time. I'm talking about second by second. The same way we look at our customers' cloud infrastructure. That enables our machine learning algorithm to be as accurate as it is. The way we are build our AI engine is that we're able to identify usage patterns. We are constantly looking at utilization, and we are looking at pricing. So once we're able to identify a discount that is slightly over than the average discount in a customer, our system will buy that discount on your behalf and liquidate the RI that has a lower discount. So we are working to maximize our customer savings at all times. Why Zesty? Well, we have a unique technology that works. We are developing, using the same technology, additional features that supposed to add values to our customers, and the main value that is automation. We believe that engineers should focus on building their amazing products that support their business. I doubt that they are very keen to babysit their cloud environment, and this is what we're here for. And anybody knows that the more reserved instances you buy, the harder it will be to identify them and definitely to sell them. So this is why Zesty. And the future of EBS management. Rui, do you wanna share some of your ideas here?
It's actually really interesting. I mean, we're just at the process of evaluating Zesty Disks, which is a new solution offered by Zesty to cost optimize the price of the EBS, right? And I have to say, I'm completely blown away. Comparing this to other, and believe me, we did. We evaluated the Zesty Disk against other solutions, and I have to say that the thing that I love the most about Zesty is that it's again, we can say no commitment, but here we can say no commitment to anything. I mean, we are the owners of our data, which still exists where I'm used to seeing it. Same place. We're not using some remote storage, centralized storage, which I have to rely on and commit to. And the worst thing that can happen, I will still have my data with me. I will go back to what I just had right now with no additional cost of my side. So this is like the biggest and most significant advantage of using Zesty for me, except from the saving, which according to my calculation, it's going to save us hundreds of thousands of dollars each month, which is amazing if you think about it. So I'm really excited trying this out. We are, as I said, just in the process of finishing the process of POCing and evaluating it. And I mean, maybe I can, next webinar, I can talk about this, right?
Yeah. Okay, we'd love to have you as well. So I would give a few more words about the value of Zesty. So the biggest value that Zesty does is we do not change the way you consume the cloud. Everything that Zesty does happens on behalf of our customers using the native APIs of the cloud providers. So you are still the sole owner of your data. you are the only one who has access to it. Would not look into your data, we do not touch your data. The only thing we do is that we are able to adjust the cloud infrastructure using native cloud APIs to meet your constantly changing application needs. So you don't have to provision and forecast the usage and the utilization of your EBS storage and increase or over provision your footprint. We are able to dynamically adjust your EBS footprint from the size and performance automatically on your behalf, which is the concept of Zesty. Do what you do best. Be an engineer. Don't babysit your cloud environment.
Really looking forward using this. It's going to help us not just achieve lower the cost. It will also help us reduce the operation around, always looking at the volume and how much we use and reduce and scale it up. And the operation of scale down in AWS is impossible, right? This brings us the ability to do that. So I'm really looking forward using it.
All right, so let's jump to a couple of questions we have from the audience. All right, let's start with the first one. Why don't run those workloads on spot instances? So this is a question definitely for Roi.
Yeah, I mean, for both of us, but I think I can take this one. We do run spot instances. We have spot instances, but spot instances, as I mentioned before, require the developer to write the code in a certain way. You cannot use things like local caching. You cannot. You have to write it in a certain way. And in a growing company like Armis, taking these resources from the developers and tell them you are not working on new features right now. You're going to work on making the current feature work on a spot instance is just not the right thing to do, right? So a lot of companies just throw money at the problem. They just pay more money so they can write new features and not handle cost optimization. But I mean, using reserve instances is perfect. They just don't know that those instances are actually reserved on plans, and that's I think that's the bottom line here.
All right, another one. What happens if Zesty over provisions and purchases too many commitments? So I'll take that one. The whole point of Zesty buyback guarantee, we actually contractually guarantee that if within 731 hours a month, there is 3 hours that commitment was not utilized, we'll pay you back on those hours. So our goal is to sell that unutilized commitment as soon as possible. This is our responsibility.
I have to say, I don't remember it happened because you are always able to set it on time. So that this is a nice commitment, but eventually what happens is that you can see that it scales up and down just second after you scale your infrastructure. So yeah. Next
Are you planning to develop solutions for spot instances? Well, it's a great question. I would approach the elephant in the room. I believe that all of us are struggling to bring talented developers to the companies. So I believe that once we will be able to hire great developers and expand our team, we'll definitely enable support to spot instances. It will be slightly in a different concept, still autonomous, still hands-free. It will work like magic. It's just a matter of time. And does commitment manager support Kubernetes? Well, Roi, I'll take that as well.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, Kubernetes is an amazing technology that utilizes the same machines, the same EC2 instances as any other technology in the world. Those technologies will require to have a running machine. Zesty does not care about what type of an application you're using the infrastructure for. What we care about is to make sure that you got that infrastructure at the most suitable price or the cheapest price we can get it for you.
I can say that we're running most of our data pipeline on Kubernetes. So
no, I didn't know that.
It works. And
it works.
Yeah, obviously you don't know about it, but yeah. More questions? Maybe maybe chat have questions?
No, I think
No
we are
questions.
done. So,
Okay.
Roi, thank you very much for joining. It was a pleasure. We're
Thank you for
happy to
having
support
me.
your scale.
Thank you for having me. And obviously, you've heard about Armis. We're growing. We're looking for people to join our train and towards IPO. So you can PM me, email me, find me on LinkedIn. If you have any questions, I'm here for you.
Awesome. And if you have any questions about Zesty, feel free to reach out either directly to me or via our website. We'll be happy to chat. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.